Listen carefully. For the first time in decades, the world's last major nuclear arms control treaty is about to disappear. Experts warn this could open the door to a new nuclear arms race, with unprecedented risks. But what if the real danger isn't just more warheads, but something most people are overlooking? Stay until the end, there's a twist most news outlets aren't even talking about. In February 2026, the new Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty, New START, the last legally binding limit on strategic nuclear weapons between the United States and Russia, will expire. These two nations hold the majority of the world's nuclear arsenal. For over a decade, New START capped deployed warheads and delivery systems, an essential break on an unrestrained nuclear buoy. But without a replacement treaty, all that constraint disappears. With no limits, both sides could expand their nuclear forces with no verification or transparency obligations. What was New START? To understand the future, we need to understand what's ending. The New START Treaty, signed in 2010, was the most recent effort to reduce and limit the nuclear arsenals of the US and Russia. It placed enforceable limits on deployed strategic nuclear warheads, 1,550 each, and their delivery systems, intercontinental ballistic missiles, submarine-launched ballistic missiles, and heavy bombers. New START also included verification measures like on-site inspections and data exchanges designed to promote trust and transparency between the world's top two nuclear powers. For more than a decade, this treaty helped stabilize global nuclear competition and reduce the risk of misunderstandings or accidental escalation. But now, after February 5, 2026, that safety rail will vanish, with no legally binding successor yet agreed. Why its expiration matters: with New START gone, both nations are free, legally, to build and deploy as many nuclear weapons as they choose. Experts warn this could lead to a new nuclear arms race, where both sides rapidly expand their stockpiles and delivery systems. Without verification, there's also no way to confirm whether the other side is complying with any self-imposed limits. Zero Search 19. The disappearance of the treaty also removes confidence-building mechanisms. Verification measures gave each side some assurance that the other was not secretly increasing nuclear forces, and reduced the risk of miscalculation. In recent years, even before the treaty expires, Russia has tested advanced nuclear-powered and nuclear-capable weapons such as new cruise missiles and underwater drones, systems that sit uncomfortably with traditional arms control frameworks. Meanwhile, the US has debated modernizing and potentially expanding its own nuclear forces, prompting debate among lawmakers and strategic planners about the future role of nukes in national security. At root, the expiration signals a move away from decades of arms control norms toward a new era of open competition. Imagine a world where governments race to build ever more powerful nuclear arsenals, where détente and treaties are replaced by brinkmanship and suspicion. That's the real risk looming after February 2026. How a new arms race could look. So what might a post-New START nuclear arms race look like? 1. Rapid expansion. Without limits, both Russia and the US could rapidly upload more warheads onto existing missiles and submarines. According to experts, the number of deployed warheads could grow dramatically within a decade. 2. Less transparency. No on-site inspections or data exchanges means each side would rely instead on intelligence agencies and satellites, increasing the chance of misinterpretation or false alarms. 3. China's role. China isn't a party to New START but is rapidly expanding its own nuclear arsenal, expected to possibly surpass 1,500 warheads by the early 2030s. This could pressure both the US and Russia to build up even further, a three-way dynamic unseen since the earliest days of the Cold War. 4. Alliances and proliferation. Other nuclear states, like India and Pakistan, could interpret the treaty's end as tacit encouragement to enhance their own capabilities. This could undermine global non-proliferation efforts like the Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons, NPT. Global impact. A new nuclear arms race isn't just about numbers. It affects economics, diplomacy, security, and everyday people. Security dilemmas. As arsenals grow, so too does mutual suspicion. Without arms control, nations may adopt more aggressive postures to deter perceived threats, increasing the risk of miscalculation or crisis. Economic burden. Nuclear forces aren't cheap. Rapid expansion could divert funds from domestic priorities, infrastructure, healthcare, education, especially in economies still recovering from pandemic-era dislocation. Diplomatic fallout. The fracturing of arms control could weaken global cooperation in other areas, from climate change to space governance. When trust falls apart, so does the ability to tackle shared challenges. Can an arms race be avoided? Some leaders have proposed a temporary continuation of New START limits even after the treaty's formal expiration. Russian President Vladimir Putin offered a voluntary one-year continuation of the treaty's quantitative limits, which the US under President Trump said sounds pretty good. If both nations agree to maintain limits informally, it could buy time for negotiations. But without a binding treaty, there's no guarantee either side would stick to it. Arms control advocates argue that a new framework, possibly trilateral including China, could manage nuclear competition more fairly. But negotiations are complex, and time is short. Here's the twist most people aren't noticing. While the world focuses on US and Russian warheads, a silent shift is happening in nuclear delivery technology, from hypersonic weapons to autonomous systems that reduce response times and increase the risk of accidental escalation. In a world where treaties no longer restrain arsenals, these technologies could make nuclear use, even by mistake, more likely than ever before. We are standing at a crossroads. Nuclear arms control has guided global stability for decades, and now that framework is disappearing. Whether we slide into a new arms race, or find a way back to cooperation, depends on political will, strategic foresight, and global pressure. If you found this insightful, comment your thoughts below, and subscribe to Conflict Explained for more deep, unfiltered geopolitical analysis. Also let me know in the comments what you think the biggest risk of 2026 will be, and we'll explore it next.